Harv.
Good. I'm doing good. It's good to be here. How are you?
Can't complain. A little tired, but that's what we keep it
How it goes.
moving. We keep
Yeah,
it moving.
100%. I think that's me most of the time. I'm a little tired, but moving.
Oh man, I would my kingdom for just like a solid nap. Like that's just what I want.
See, I wish I could, but I can't nap. See, if I nap, that's me like done. Like I wake up and I feel like absolute death, so I just choose not to nap instead.
No, that's fair. It's like so hit or miss. Sometimes you just wake up and just like the whole disoriented, like what day is it kind of thing.
Yeah,
Quick
it's
way to fuck up the vibe.
yeah, very very hit and miss. I've not mastered the art of napping yet. I mind when I went to New York in June. I was all spaced out because of the time difference. So like I ended up like napping by accident, and then waking up and being like, "Where am I?" And then checking the time and being like, "What's going on?" like what country am I in? And then I'm like, "Wait, what? Did I sleep? I've woken up in America. What the hell?"
Oh fuck. Oh, yeah, man. I couldn't even imagine the time difference. I jet lag plus like the time difference. Sounds like hell.
Yeah, so it was a weird one, but it took me like 3 or 4 days to get used to because we we left Scotland at like 10 a.m. and then got to America at like 2 p.m. and it was like, but we were on the flight for like 6, 7 hours, so it was so confusing. It was so confusing, and then the next day, like, we ended up waking up at 4 in the morning because so it felt like 9 in the morning. It was it's the first time I'd done like a big time difference jump, so it definitely was like a proper weird one.
Yes. Just gotta rip the band-aid off. I gotta start off with a bang.
Pretty much.
Alright. Looks like we got some people trickling in and out, but I figure it's as good as time as any to get started, right? So for people who aren't really familiar with you or your work, can you just introduce yourself to like who you are, like how you started creating, all that fun stuff?
Yep, of course. So I'm Harvey, or Harv MCM. From Scotland. I'm 21, and I do a variety of art-related things. So I'm obviously a one-on-one artist, and I do a lot of my own original created pieces. But I also founded my own collection called Blocks, and that's done pretty well. I'm now also working on a collection as well of my dad's art, which is pretty cool. So all these art-related things going on at the moment, and I kind of got started the start of 2020, so that's kind of when I properly started my like art career, I'd say. Was always drawn before that, like I guess most of us were really, but didn't really take it too seriously. Was kind of just doing doodles here and there until the month before COVID hit, and then I started like do my own proper like original work and posting it, and then COVID hit, and that kind of gave me the opportunity to focus a bit more down on it. And then a few months and I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do in my life. So here we are, like 2 years later, which is kind of wild. But just plugging away, drawing blocks.
Drawing blocks, gotta love it. I think it's one of the coolest things about your stuff, since like I remember like you were posting your work back in like 2020. You were one of the first ones, like I remember on Super Rare and all that. And you really just kind of like had your iconic style, right? And you still like, it's been awesome to see you kind of just keep bringing that forward with blocks, forward with all of your original pieces. Was there anything that kind of inspired that like block-like style, or was this just one of those things that just kind of clicked when you did it?
Yeah, so it's had kind of like a few iterations over time. It started off when I started properly like drawing my own original work. It was early 2020. It was all physical stuff I was doing. Like I'd bought an iPad 2 months into when I started intending to use it, and then it kind of freaked me out because there was so much to it that I was like, I'll just leave it. So I ended up just doing a lot physically, and then the blocks kind of started to take form because I was looking at loads of like loads of classic artists, and I was looking at lots of George Condo at the time, and that was during the period where I'd just started listening to Kanye. So I'd seen like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I loved the cover, and then I was looking at Condo's work, and then my dad bought me a book on Condo. So then there's elements of like his geometry that I've kind of snuck in to my work, and then I've kind of adapted and taken forward, and then from the physical stuff it went into the first proper blocks piece I'd say was done on my iPad, because I was actually at my parents' house and I didn't have my pens and papers and everything like that, so I was like, oh, might as well just try doing a digital piece, and then the blocks were kind of formed, and since then I've been playing with them, adapting with them. I use them within, like, you know, I've got this pastel style that's a little more free and different that I use, but the blocks still seem to like appear within all of my like different alleys of work, despite you know, like for instance, my profile pictures, like it's, you know, that's a blocks piece. It's done on my iPad. You can tell, but then if I do a piece on paper, I still like to incorporate these forms within my work. So it's kind of like my trademark at this point, which is nice, because I never thought when I started that I'd have like a thing, if that makes sense. We're always looking for like what's our, like, you know, what's my style or what's my thing, and then over time it just kind of naturally appears and has formed itself into what I have right now.
Yeah, I think you touched on something kind of cool there. It's like, you know, we're all just you know, trying to come up with our own organic style, and you know, I think the ultimate goal is to, like, someone sees a piece and they immediately know, like, oh, that's a Harv right there. So I think it's really cool how you were able to bring that forward, not only through like the different mediums, but also, you know, like into the whole blocks project as well.
Thank you.
So you touched on a little bit about you know, drawing some inspiration from like Condo's geometry. Do you have like any other influences like that really kind of you know, pointed you into the direction that, you know, you're at today?
I've got let me look at my bookshelf behind me and I'll tell you exactly. I've got a book on Kondo, Murakami. I also have books on street art, Bacon, got one on Rembrandt, Van Gogh. It's just kind of a mix of things, really. Like, since I started taking it like a bit more seriously and knowing that like art was what I wanted to focus on, doing my research and just spending my time like looking at art and going to more galleries and, you know, experiencing more art and actually like caring about it, because, you know, prior to like, I'd say, I don't know, mid 2020, you know, I'd done like a few months of work, but I wasn't really looking at anything apart from the stuff I'd see online. And then before that, I, you know, barely was looking at stuff. So taking the time to actually like experience art, and I guess that's because I've gotten a little bit older as well. So maybe I just have the patience now, whereas when I was like 14, 15, like I just didn't really want to walk around the gallery. I remember my mum saying to me, like, we went to Germany when I was 15, and we went around the gallery that I would probably, well, I know I'd love it right now, and I just couldn't give a shit. I was like, oh, I just can't be bothered, like I want to go to football. That was it. It's funny, and she was laughing because she was like, it's funny how you've gone full circle. But yeah, it's just a variety of artists that I enjoy and kind of weave their way into my work. But I do always say that if there's one artist that I do look back on a lot, it probably would be George Condo. He's had a big influence on my work. Oh yeah, definitely a master at what he does. It's yeah, no, I agree with you too. It's just like, you kind of like grow older, and, you know, you sort of grow into this role of realizing, like, you know, like how important art is to you. You definitely have a little bit more appreciation for, like, you know, the stuff that other people have created, some of the greats, etc., right? Yeah. So I would like to hear a little bit about blocks, because that's one thing that has been dominating my TL, and I'm just want to pick your brain about it. So here we are. Let's go for it. So for someone who's not familiar with the project, can you give us a little bit of a rundown of what Blocks is? Yeah, of course. So Blocks is, I'd say, my first large collection that I have released. It is a 1,000 piece collection. I don't really want to call it a profile pic collection, but I guess it is.
It's like an art-centered project. Something.
Yeah,
like
it was carefully curated, but yeah, 1,000 pieces. There's like 50 plus collabs in it, a load of physicals, and it's just like a massive mix of different art styles and mediums and characters, and there's just like a bunch of stuff, and it all pulls from like pop culture influences that I enjoy, or moments of my life, or all these sort of things to create these 1,000 pieces, and it really was quite a mission. I'd say it was a mission to complete. It was a lot of fun, and also took a lot longer than I thought it would. But then I also did know it was going to take ages because it's 1,000 pieces. But it was good fun, and I've just been plugging away, still doing stuff for the community. We've got like a really like lovely and I'd say quite tight knit community base of collectors and non-collectors as well, that are always in and out the Discord or the Twitter and stuff. And yeah, just been constantly doing little bits with blocks, and it's been a lot of fun. But it definitely, an art-based collection that I'm really proud of as well, and it's holding up. Considering we're in a bit of a rough patch market-wise, blocks is holding up, which we love to see.
Oh yeah, you love to see it. Yeah, no, it's still popping up every day on the TLs, just like other people switching their profile picture over. Or see you doing some stuff for the community, so it's just you kind of really love to see it. So with this project, like I know you did just mention like it took you kind of a lot longer than you expected, but it's a lot of work that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the like kind of roadblocks that you faced when it came to either creating them, curating them, or really just bringing it to life?
There was quite a lot of like little hiccups, as you probably expect. I mean, it was my first experience doing something of this size, and especially like so I started it in November. No, sorry, was it November? I think it was before that. I think it might be a year ago. September, October. Oh my God,
Blocks are a year old.
Yeah, well, we minted in February, but I think I started work about a year ago. That's scary. Yeah, jeez. Yeah, so there was a lot of, like I said, because I've not really done something this size, and then when I started working the collection and around about, I'd say October, maybe ramped it up in November, and then we started getting proper traction in like January time, and that's when I was like properly out of my depth, because I was like, oh God, I've never seen this amount of like eyes before, and people were like really excited for it and everything. But I did have a lot of like little hiccups with just ideas where I'm like, what am I doing next? Like, I don't want to do too many pieces that look the same, or just that sort of thing. Like, what am I wanting the collection to look like? Like, what points do I want to put across? Like, what themes? And really making sure that I did the best collection I could. And it's funny looking back on it now as well, because even a few months, like a month or two after, I was looking back through it, and I was like, I could do that one much better. And I'm like, I wish I didn't do that one, delete that one, and change this and change that. But it's quite nice that it's there, and it's just like that's how it is. And even though I know that I could actually change bits, because the dev who worked on it, this is quite nice as well. The dev who worked with me was my flatmate at the time, and one of my best mates, and he was doing a coding course, and then I was just kind of like chatting to him. I was like, do you want to learn how to do a smart contract and help me mint blocks? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then he went away and figured it all out, and then has since done like he did a Tomo as well, and he's working with me on Morty, which is class. Well, I don't even know what my point was there, but yeah, that was really nice. I had a point that I was gonna say about that, but it's gone.
It's cool. It's cool, like hearing like the lore behind it, because like it's rewarding building something like this that's it's around for it's still around today, it's still be around tomorrow, still be around years down the road. So it's really cool, kind of like working with some friends and making stuff that's timeless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember my point now. My point was, he told me, because he started all this stuff from scratch, and then since doing blocks, he's been like getting and doing a Tomo as well. He understands the whole process now, and he's really good at what he does. and obviously when we started, we were both total novices in terms of these sort of size collections. But he said to me not long ago that he figured out how to, like, you know, he can change and update the metadata and stuff, and if I wanted to change anything, to let him know. But I think it's special leaving it how it was, even if I know that I could even just like correct some of the spelling mistakes that I did, because I had to do it. So not many people will probably know that with NFT collections like this, every NFT is paired with a JSON file, which is like the file of all the attributes and traits and stuff. So what you see on OpenSea, you look through it, it says like, you know, background white, you know, hair color rainbow, whatever. Yeah, that's part of this like file. So I actually I typed out every file for each one of the 1,000 pieces by hand, and there was like 11 options within a file, and I had to do that 1,000 times. So I pretty much did like, I had like 11,000 variants, and I had to like delete and change, and then that's not that. So like within the collection, there's like a good handful of spelling mistakes, and even though I know I could go back and change them, I think it's just nice and leave them as they are. And even though some pieces are totally spelled like absolutely butchered, I think I butchered a bunch. I guess it just adds to the uniqueness, and well, I guess it makes those ones that I spelled wrong.
It's rarity, you know. It just makes them rare. Simple.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. It must have been like such a learning curve, just like kind of going into this, like with like you and your friend, just, you know, knowing not necessarily everything that you needed to deploy a collection like this, and then, you know, have it a year later and people are still talking about blocks.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, and yeah, we didn't really know what we were doing, and we did. I mean, if you were around during Mint, we had multiple issues where our Mint actually ended up taking 3 days where it should have took a night, because Josh there's an issue with the contract that he did, which I was never going to be angry for, because we were both just absolute novices, so it was probably going to happen, and we ended up having to do our like whitelisting stages and batches. So I think over the course of the 3 days, I had like, I don't know, like 10 hours sleep over 3 days.
Jesus.
And I was on Spaces for like 12 hours. My voice, by the end of the 3 days, my voice was gone, but it was actually such a good experience, and it was a lot of fun, even though it was like, I'm sitting there on Spaces like speaking my heart out, and Josh is sitting on my computer like typing like an absolute madman, like trying to get all the wallets in, and we're doing like, we're like, oh yeah, we'll do the next 100 people in a batch, and we're like trying to get people like active, and we're like, okay, are you ready? Folk are like, you know, no one knows what's going on, and then by the end we were doing like having people like in the Discord general, like picking people for the whitelist and stuff. It was like a beautiful mess, but it almost makes it like so much more special looking back, knowing like all the ups and downs, and then being here and it still being pretty sound today, and it's good memory, and I'm proud of it.
That's special, like even just maintaining like hype over 3 days, because, you know, on paper it doesn't sound like a lot, but like once you start putting in that work and trying to get people motivated and like, you know, involved, the whole space is the attention span of goldfish, so like it's so easy to lose momentum here. But
it really is. I mean, especially now, like I was speaking about this with Josh a few days ago, like we got really lucky with the period that we minted in, because even though at the time I thought we were unlucky because we minted in the same week of like Starcatchers, Invisible Friends, Weather Report, all these big collections, and I was like, I remember looking at the timetable thinking, fuck, it's not happening. Like, I was like, why did I pick this day, or like, why this week? Why couldn't it have been a week before or the week after or whatever? But stuck by my guns and ended up doing pretty well. So yeah, I'm happy with how it all turned out.
Oh yeah, for sure. So one thing that I always kind of appreciated about Blocks is that it is really like an art focused project. And before you kind of mentioned, like, you know, you touched on some collabs and stuff, do you like have like any individual ones that really stand out to you, or any kind of pieces from the collection that like you still think about to this day? And I know that's a hard one, because it's like hard to pick like your favorite, but just like, you know, just if there's like one or two that you don't still think about.
there's loads of them, right? Obviously, but the one I don't know if it's just the one that's in my head as you said that question. I think it sold like the other day, which is probably why. There's a piece within the collection called the Origins, and it's just your standard kind of blocks character, but both within the block and on the background there's art that I did when I was like 4 or 5 that my mum sent me to use in the collection, and I don't know why. That's just one of those pieces that I'm like, I know that's so special because it's like almost like a timeline of the start and then where I was at that point, and it's just nice that and it was such a good idea that from my mum to include like a wide variety of my work, not only work that I've done within the past like 2 years within characters and backgrounds and stuff, but to include work that I did really at the start of my life. So that's probably one of the pieces that stands out. But yeah, if we were here for another like 3 or 4 hours, I could probably give you another 50, 60, 70 more. So.
No, I really like that concept. Like, shout out your mom for that because it's cool. Yeah. Like sentimental value. Like it's kind of, I like the title too. It's literally where it all began, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that I titled them all as well. That was another absolutely mammoth effort, but worth it in the end. I don't know. I think I've said this once or twice, but with the titles, so obviously there's 1,000 titles. I did 700 in a sitting, so I think it was like a day and then like a night. I did around about 600, 700 in one go, which sounds outrageous.
It does.
It probably was. I mean, I think you'll probably be able to tell which ones like were done near the end of that 700 because there's some that are just like what was going on there. I think there's like titles that's like there's one that's called like I am running out of titles. That's the title.
It's just, if anyone questions you on it, it's just performance art, simple as.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it just became what it became. It just is that. But no, it's nice, and it's nice looking back now as well. Like having it, it's been 7 months since we minted, which is crazy. And I dropped out of uni the month after as well, so it's like, geez, it's been 6 months since I dropped out of uni. That's crazy as well.
Oh shit! Wow.
So yeah, it's nice looking back, and then also like I mentioned this briefly at the start, I'm working on a collection with my dad, so doing the same thing that I did, but for his art instead of mine, which is really nice. And it's nice having the experience that I had from blocks, and then Josh having his experience with blocks and Atomo to be able to apply it to a collection of all my dad's art and try and get his work showcased in the same way that mine has been, and trying to put some eyes on his stuff. And yeah, it's nice. Also, I guess that's kind of full circle as well, because he was the one that really encouraged me to do art and be artistic, and then now trying to full circle it and get his work out in the world. So
no, yeah. That's beautiful. I love that whole concept, and I definitely would like to know a little bit more about like his collection and stuff. But I do remember back in the day, like you had the sunflowers piece, right? It was I think there was like a collab between you and your dad, and I thought that was just fantastic.
Yeah, that was I was speaking. He came over today, and we were speaking about the collection we're doing, and those pieces as well. We did 2 collabs where. So I kind of have to give this context, right? So this is another like good little story snippet. A month before we did 2 collabs and both 2 paintings before we started speaking about doing a collection together. But a month before that, he said to me, he was like, "Oh, like I'm never doing art again." He was like, "I'm done. Like I've not, I've had my fun. Like it's not really picked up." That's me. I just want to garden. He said. I was like, okay, sound. And then like a month later, I'm like, "Oh, Dad, like you should paint this drawing that I've done." And he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that one." And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, "Oh, you should paint the sunflowers." And then he was like, "Oh yeah, that would actually be really cool." So he does that, and that takes him like a week or 2 or whatever. And then like I don't know, 2-3 months go by, and I've just draw blocks, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, see that collection we were speaking about?" I was like, "You should start drawing that." And then he goes, "Oh yeah, okay." And then it's been 6 months. My dad's been drawing stuff for this project for 6 months, and he's now just finished. Well, actually, he's not finished. He's got some other stuff to do, but he's almost finished. He's done all the traits and stuff, and he's now asking me for more things to draw. So I'm like, you shite bag. It's so funny. It's so funny, but it's nice.
That's kind of this is really kind of beautiful. I mean, you go from never making art again, fuck this, I quit, to having a whole collection. That's based as hell.
Yeah, it's a nice little story, and I guess I think he said to me, he was like, yeah, you're probably the only person that would have been able to achieve that and get me to do art. So, but yeah, he's done so much for this collection, and it just kind of it sucks that we're trying to release it such a terrible time, but I guess we're just going to push through anyway and hope enough people see it. But I've literally got, like, in the corner of my room right now, like, a whole pile of, so he's hand drawn everything as well, like all the traits are on paper with pen, and then all the one-on-ones are oil paintings or acrylic paintings, and he's done all the backgrounds or collages. Like, it's mad. Like, I've got my room, my office space is filled with his art at the moment, and there's, like, I mean, I've not actually announced this, so I guess you're getting the tease. Probably about 700-800 bits of art in my room at the moment from him for this collection. Yeah, it's wild.
Shit. And that like that's all traditional and everything?
Yeah. So the collection's built up like loads of different things. But the big bulk are going to be generated from his hand drawings, and they're all drawn with ink pens on paper. And then all the one-on-ones are like oil paintings, and some of the backgrounds are like hand-on collages and stuff. It's a mammoth effort. So we're just slowly starting to tease things, but obviously, as you know, it's hard to get eyes at the moment. But I think we just hit like 600 followers today, which is very nice. So just plugging away. That's my little plug for Morthier there.
Love to see it. No, I'm really excited to see it. It's, again, I think it's something special that you guys are onto with the art focused collections, because it's a lot less hype based for that kind of thing. And like, don't get me wrong, obviously I know, like, hype's important and everything, but just the quality of work between you guys, like your guys' collection, blocks, even Atomo, shout out to Atomo. It's it's just nice to see something where it's just like people have actually spent time on the art and are actually doing shit that puts the art first rather than the next kind of like hype cycle kind of thing. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of, it's what I came into like NFTs to do, like do art that I enjoy and that I think is good, and then get into the hands of collectors and stuff. And then if you get paid, it's just a good bonus, and it can just keep me going to onto the next art based endeavor that I do. So it's like I keep saying, it's been such a nice timeline for me as we keep going, and then as I look back on it and now get my dad into it, and hopefully being able to sell his work out and show him there's thousands of people that own your art and love it. Like, that'll be a good day when it comes. I was gonna say if, I'm gonna say when.
Yeah, you gotta speak that shit into existence. It's when, it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, it's cool. It's really nice like having like the opportunity for both you and his work just to reach literally thousands of people across the globe. Like, that shit is something special.
Yeah, it's quite surreal. It is quite surreal, and it's really, that's one of the things that I think was so nice about Blocks, is the fact that all my family are in it as well. Not only just like, I speak about my dad a lot because he's the one in my family that does the most art, but within Blocks there's like my mum has done loads of work, and my granny's done loads of pieces in Blocks, and my girlfriend and her sister as well, and my cousin and my flatmates at the time, and all these other people, which is why I think Blocks felt so special. And then again, the same sort of vibes for the collection I'm doing with Dad Morthier. It's like another just kind of family, friends based, like small collective that we're just launching on art projects and putting the art first, and not promising that you're gonna get like some, you know,
Yeah, some kind
blocks
of.
coin, and you're going to be able to like mint a car into your front room or something.
Oh my
No mad promises. Just I promise you good art.
No, that's based. I respect the hell out of that. No, that's so cool. I didn't know that like you actually had like there's like sentimental elements behind all of that. It's really interesting how it kind of like how you got your whole family about like kind of involved like that. Like do you or your family have like kind of like a traditional art background experience, or is this just just let's just do this for fun and see what happens?
Well, my dad does. My dad's got a master's in art from uni. He's just never used it, which is why I've been trying to push him into releasing a collection like this. But no one else in my family's got any like traditional art, like I guess experience really. Like my granny loves making cards for the family at Christmas. You always get a nice handmade card from her, or like my birthday or something like that. And then my mum, she's always enjoyed doing art, just doesn't really do it too often. And then people like my cousin and friends and stuff, like they never worked on art or did art. I just convinced them to be involved and said that I'd pay them, and that was like, yeah, sure, for them. They were like, yeah, great. Well, I just have to do like a little piece and I get paid, and I was like, yeah, that's it. And they were all very very excited for that. So, yeah, that was good. It was nice, like being able to get all my, you know, not only have artists that I really admire within NFTs and online being involved, and there's so many so many more that I could have had as well. I mean, follow like over 1,000 people. Could have been 1,000 artists in it, but even just having the great selection that I did, and then adding my family and friends on top is kind of what I feel made it, and you know, just brings it together.
Yeah, definitely that aspect. It definitely kind of sets it apart. It's always interesting to see like what project choose like what artists for collabs and stuff, because then you can kind of get a better idea of like is it hype based or is it mainly art focused. So yeah, what you guys did was like really special. It's pillars of the art community, like even before all the NFT shit popped off and all of like all the time since then. So like when you got blocks under your belt, you got this new collection coming, like for anyone, like what's the next step for Harv? Like if you can spill a little tea or give us a little bit more of an insight, or if you just don't even know.
Well, I guess I'd say I don't really fully know, but I kind of I have like a rough idea in my head where I'm like for the rest of this year at least. Like I've got an art show in November I'm within an art show in London in November, which I don't think I've announced yet, but I will eventually. Well, I guess I've announced it right now, but I'll properly announce it soon. And a few other little bits and bobs here and there. I'm trying to do like loads of different things. Like I want to start releasing some more clothes soon again because I am really passionate about the clothing that I do, and get some more designs out there into the world. Obviously I'm spending a lot of time working on More Theory with my dad, but that's great fun. Also working on one-on-ones. I'm kind of building up a small portfolio because I want to present my work to a small gallery in Scotland somewhere and try and convince them to do a showing for me. But we'll see how that goes. That's just an idea at the moment. And then what other stuff do I want to do? I can't actually say this. I can't give you the full details, but I had a phone call the other day, which is very, I'd say, sentimental. Something I'm very passionate about. I had a phone call with someone that was within this. I don't. It's so hard to say without like kind of spoiling it. But yeah, I had a phone call.
Industry kind of.
It was a good phone call, so that's another thing I'm working on.
That's awesome. Hell, you got me curious. I'm excited to see what happens with it, though.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think the timeline will really care, but for me, I can't wait. Like I'm buzzing. I'm so excited. So hopefully, I pull it off, but we'll see. But yeah, I guess to kind of cut it short, I'm doing loads of little different bets. I'm working on an airdrop collection for blocks as well. I spoke about that. working on a bunch of things, but then at the core of it all is really just trying to like get better with my own art and continue being an artist full time. Like that's the main goal. I'm still doing it. I'm surviving. Doing pretty decently. So my goal is to continue that, and I guess have my branch out into all these different mediums and stuff, and just enjoy myself and work with cool people, and get better on all the things I'm doing. Like I'm started working more physically as well. I got some mad physical pieces for this art fair. Like they're proper,
Okay.
and they're collabs with my dad as well. He's done the backgrounds, and I've drawn all over them and everything. Yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying there's a lot of shit.
That's yeah. I was gonna say like you be putting in the hours, it seems.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm really excited to see like what kind of happens next, and hopefully you get a whole show out in Scotland. That'd be base.
Yeah, that would be so nice. That's just one of those things where like, yeah, I know like I eventually would love to do one somewhere in America, so that like all the people on Twitter and collectors and stuff can come. But I feel like if I'm to get my first solo show ever, where I'd love for it to be in Scotland, so all my family could come.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's home, right? Like
yeah, but
it's that's a mental thing.
I've not reached out to anyone yet, so I'm trying to. I'll get there eventually, but I'll reach out to a small gallery within the country and be like, you should show my art somewhere. You should do that.
You just gotta just repeat yourself enough, and eventually they'll just give up and be like, you know what, we got you.
Yeah, I'll just camp outside and be like, I'm not leaving until you show my art.
If it gets the job done, it gets the job done, right?
I mean, you got to do what you got to do,
Exactly. Nobody said this shit was easy.
Yeah, literally.
What is like, we've started to see like more people, obviously with, art kind of taking off in the last couple months, or even if you want to zoom out the last couple years, people start to get more involved with, doing bigger projects, or, just tokenizing their work. Would you have any like words of advice for people either working on a project or just, trying to get out there and get their work noticed or get their work sold?
I think the thing that I try and live by is just like take your time. Like there isn't really a rush. Like we've all got time, and there is, like, as cliche as it sounds, there is space for all of us within Web3, and that's kind of the joy of it, is the fact that you're again cutting out the middleman. Even though I'm trying to do these galleries, like most of them, it's not great for artists, and it's hard to get into, and it's one of those things where getting into these physical galleries and stuff, like it's such a great feeling, but like it's really hard for 99% of us. Like I've applied to so many already, and it's so hard. It's so niche, I guess. So like the good thing about Web3 is there is actually generally space for like all of us artists to just do our thing and yeah, not like struggle off it as well. Do really well and then support each other and stuff. But definitely the main thing is just take your time and try not let numbers get into your head, even though we all do it. And I'm always looking at stuff and being like, and letting little bits get in my head, and then I have to like, what are you doing? It doesn't matter. Like, just take your time. There's no rush. Like, I won't sell, like, for instance, I've not sold a super piece in months, right? Like, it's been months, and then like I'll have moments where I'm like, oh, like shit, like it's not sold or whatever, blah blah, and then I just have to be like, or like Caitlin will tell me, she's like, it's fine, like just don't deep it, like just take your time. There's no rush. We're all gonna, get to the stages that we want to be at eventually, and just keep plugging on with the art. And if you keep working on art, you're gonna keep getting better, and then eventually, if people will take notice. I think that's really kind of how it goes. And yeah, it can be a slog at times, but that's just how it is, and you just got to push through. Keep the positive vibes going. Listen to some music. Keep drawing. That's kind of the motto. I just put some music on, watching TV or something. Try and not think about it too much, even though that like most of my living hours is me thinking about art. But yeah, take your time that's the main word. Just take your time.
100%. No, it's really good advice too, because like, yeah, you touched on it there. It's just like if you're constantly surrounded by like, you know, all these big numbers and everything, it's hard. Like it's, you know, some shit is going to get to you, but like, like just being able to consciously remind yourself, like, yo, all right, we don't have to keep moving at like light speed here, you know, slow and steady. And if you're still like leveling up in the process, you're gonna get your flowers eventually, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's also just about like, I'm sort of like giving this advice, even though like, this is also advice to myself, because I guess I don't do it all the time. Is to just like take a break from it as well. Like it is like I said, it's so easy to get wound up within NFTs because there is always so much going on, and there will probably always be so much going on, which is what's so great about it. But then again, it's so easy to let it sneak into your head, and then, you know, I'll be on my feed and like, you know, there'll be hundreds of Super Red bots, and I'm like, oh, I've not had a Super Red bot in ages, and then I start deep in it, and then I just need to like, just, you know, shut up and do some more art and work on some other stuff, and then when you're not even thinking about these sort of things, that's when it'll do its thing.
Definitely.
And that's just really how it goes. But yeah, take your time working on it. It's definitely the mall. And listen to some music.
There you go.
Music while you're doing it.
What are you listening to these days?
Oh, what am I listening to? I'm gonna just bring up my Spotify and tell you what I'm listening to.
There we go.
I've been playing the new JID album a lot.
Yo.
That's been on the rotation. The new Danger Mouse album I've been playing a lot. And I've been replaying the last Arctic Monkeys album because I know they got a new one coming out. It's probably gonna be similar. And even though
I forgot about that.
Even though it got like a lot, like it wasn't what people expected, and at the time when I listened to it, I was like, I don't know if I like it that much. But as I kept listening to it, I love it, and it's so good to put on and then make art to, because it's just so like spacey. It's just weird, and I really, really enjoy that. So I've been bunking that a lot. What else have I been listening to? Yeah, a bunch of stuff. I listen to a bunch of stuff. But they're the three albums that I can think off the top of my head.
It looks like we got a little bit more time. I don't know if anybody wants to come up and ask some questions regarding blocks, origins of Hive, etc. But if you want, just request to come up, and I'm sure we can get you covered. But in the meantime, how would you? So like you kind of play like the dual role between like, you know, doing like a 1K project and being, you know, like I hate this term, but like kind of one-on-one artist. Like,
yeah.
How would you kind of define the differences between them, or like what is it like being able, like having a foot in both worlds, so to speak?
It's a weird one. It's like it's an odd blend because I wouldn't say I've really like mastered it. Like, yeah, like I don't know. It's kind of like a weird one being kind of doing both. Like, especially because like when I was just primarily doing 101s, that was like it, and then I started doing like this collection, and then since then, like I wasn't focusing on the 101 stuff. So it's almost like I was either one or the other. So now I'm in this period now where I've got my hand in both, and I kind of guess I got my hand in three things. So I've got my own 101 art, blocks, and then now again more to do with my dad's collection. So it's a weird one, but again, it's all about just kind of taking my time. Like as I said, like I've not sold a 101 in a bit, but it's kind of just how it is within the space, especially since the market's been so quiet. But yeah,
interesting. Yeah, no, it's always at least been a curiosity of mine, just like seeing like how people navigate, like, you know, being like, you know, project, for lack of a better word, like project lead versus career artist, if that makes any sense. I don't mean to downplay anything you did artistically with
no.
I just mean like just with blocks, like it's you were talking about before, there's just so much on your plate all at one time. Like,
yeah, no, you're right though, because I've always found like being the project lead or promoting like a collection is so much easier than promoting your own 101 stuff, and I think that's just how it really is. Because when you're trying to promote your one-on-one stuff, obviously, like, you know, it's not. It's majority of the time you're trying to aim for a higher price point as well. So it's like, you know, it's harder to do. And I've always found it a bit. I don't know. It's probably something that a lot of artists find difficult at times. I find trying to promote my super stuff, I find it hard. Like, I don't know if I feel like I'm annoying. Like, I get those
No,
things
I
where,
get that. I get
like I
that.
tweet it, like again, I'm not sold a super piece in a little bit of time, so I've been tweeting about it recently, and I tweet it, and then I'm like, you know, I'll leave it a few days, and I'm like, should I tweet about it again? I'm like, I don't want to be annoying. Like, I feel annoying. Whereas with a project like Blocks, like, I was tweeting every day about it because that's just kind of how the build up goes, and that's just how it is. So I guess it's two different things when you're coming to like speaking about them, and I'm kind of getting back into that, you know, the momentum of, you know, doing my trying to sell work on, you know, more one-on-one stuff opposed to, you know, selling blocks out. But it's totally different. It's a totally different mindset, the two of them. But I guess you've just got to find a blend between both, and yeah, it can be a hard one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's like a, you know, easy answer to it all or whatever. But
No, definitely not.
no, I can definitely see, because like, you know, promoting your own work, like that shit is, I'm not gonna lie, it gets a little cringy sometimes. Like I hate
it does. It's
like,
just one of those things that
it's
just a pain. Like, I guess because we're not promoters, like it's so, like, posting art, you know, no problem now. I used to get really nervous. Now it's like I'll do a piece, and then I'll find a nice title that I think fits, and then I'll post it, and I'll turn my phone off, and I'll go to bed, and that's fine. But then promoting my own stuff, it's just one of those things. It's like every time, like, it just doesn't get easy, and there's no like handbook to it. I guess it's easy to promote when you're doing like well within one-on-one stuff. Like, if your stuff's moving, but then you go through, you know, it happens with all of us, where you go through periods where, you know, you're on like a little bit of a chill one, or it's like a little bit down, and you don't want to annoy folk. And I guess that's like how, you know, that's me at the moment with like superhero stuff, where I'm like, you know, I don't want to annoy folk too much with it. But then again, it's like, well, you've got to tweet about it, so
yeah. It's that weird like little line between like, I don't want to be relentless with it, but also, you know, closed mouths don't get fed kind of thing.
True. Yeah. That is right. Yeah. So I guess that just means you're going to be seeing my 3 unsold super pieces on the timeline until they are sold.
Yeah, no, all right. Everyone here, you got one job. You need to go share Harrisburg right now. That's your homework assignment for the day. Easy.
Yeah, that's funny. But
no, it's yeah, it's a hard one. Cause like I remember like you were like, oh god, you were like posting art on Twitter like before all of this NFT shit popped off.
Yeah,
so, just the dynamics of like, you know, posting then versus posting now, like you can, like, at least me personally, like I feel like it's changed a little bit. Like it's a little, it's like less pressure but more pressure almost in a way, you know.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, it's changed a lot for the better, because, you know, if you even right now, right, we're lucky enough to be joined by some great artists in the space. Like, just at the top of here, you got Angel, Yagami, Cliff, and I know there's some others that were in here, like Cosmo and stuff, and Bear. And it's great for all of us because, you know, we're actually like selling work, and even no matter what the consistency is, majority of artists that I know are selling work, and actually, like, a lot of us are making a living, which is great. Like, we're, you know, solely artists are actually like making a living, but it is much different now to what it was when I started posting, and I guess the dynamic just changed a little bit with NFTs. And I remember it went through a period in the middle, like I started posting, and then there was no NFTs for a few months, or at least not within my my timeline or my feed or anything. And then from like I started in August 2020 when I first posted my first one-on-one, which is over 2 years ago now, which it makes, yeah, I don't even know, proper weird one. And then it was, you know, it was really good. And then I went through a period where, like, I mean, there was so much hate around NFTs, and and then went through a period where like I launched blocks, and it was like projects were doing really well, and that was what people were really enjoying. And then I feel like we've kind of gone full circle back to the bit where I started, where like
Yeah.
one-on-one art's starting to pop off again, and it's great to see artists like T Joe and stuff on the timeline that are just doing absolute bets and smashing it. And it's
Hmm.
great to see a lot of artists, doing absolute bets with their one-on-ones, and it does feel like it's gone full circle, which is nice.
Yeah, it really has. It feels like, it's like back to the early days where it's just like, it's less, what's gonna get me the next 100 or 1,000x, and it's back to
Yeah,
the simple, oh, that picture looks cool, I want to buy it kind of thing. And
yeah,
it's
that's how it should be.
yeah, and it's cool now, especially since everything's kind of fizzled out. The people who are still here, it's just like you talk a little bit with them, and like it's easier to kind of like build a relationship with the people who are still here, still like you know either putting work out there, or connecting artists with one another, or collectors, or even collectives, or anything that's popping up. You see more and more come up every day, and just being able to still talk to them, it's kind of refreshing. Like like I can't lie. Like personally, I like where we're at. I don't know how you
Yeah,
feel.
I definitely, in terms of like art as a whole, I definitely agree. Obviously, I'm trying to sell my dad's collection, which is a little tough, considering the market. But as a whole, like this is where like it should be. Like it should just be um, art focused and art based, and it's nice just people buying what they like, and hopefully it stays the same. Like the mad dip in NFTs and ETH overall. I said this months ago when shit was starting to hit the fan a little bit, and I was like, it's going to be a good thing because it just weeds out all the people that would be buying your art just to get a quick flip and move on, or people that don't really appreciate it or just want to get this 1,000 times flip and then have some like get some silly utility promises and all that sort of shit. And it's nice that we've got, again, I feel like I've said this a lot. It's almost like a theme. Things just keep going full circle, but
Circle.
it's
No,
it's
it's
good.
beautiful. You say it a lot because it's true though. We literally went through like the whole fucking. We went through all the stages. Like I don't know like what's even gonna be next, but
Yeah,
it's been a ride for sure, and
absolutely. Yeah,
it's been really beautiful to see like artists like yourself really kind of get the flowers they deserve too. And it's only hopefully it's just nothing but blessings moving forward.
yeah. Hopefully, it's the same for all of us, and yeah, we're going through. It's in a nice period for art at the moment, and then even like I said, like even if I don't like promoting my own stuff, it's nice like seeing everyone's art on the timeline and seeing folk do so well. And I've started like this is one thing that I wasn't doing even just a year ago. I guess it's because I'm fortunate Blocks has done well and I can actually like afford to a little bit. But like I've been really enjoying actually like supporting the artists I enjoy and buying people's editions, or like I bought a one-on-one from Super earlier today, and starting placing bids on things just because I know that like I've got like a few ETH just sitting that I can just like do that, which is like I'm so grateful for. And it's nice being able to put my like there's money up from Blocks back into like artists that I enjoy. And like today I bought one of the Stacks editions, which I was buzzing about, and then
Oh fuck,
I was so buzzing about it.
you got a
I
stack?
got Yeah, I got on it so early, like literally posted it, and it was like I didn't know it was happening. Like he didn't give me a heads up or anything, and posted it like, and I went to my feed, and I've just recently just changed my feed to like latest tweets because I wasn't seeing anyone's art. It's fucking annoying. Twitter's been so weird. Um, and it came up like right at the top of the feed, and I was like, "That's a beauty. I'm definitely buying that." And I went to my MetaMask, and I had like 0.13, and I was like, "Perfect, it's point 0.1." So went for it. So I got added that to the collection, which was nice. And I bought a few weeks ago. I bought a piece from Bobby and bought an Osbren edition as well. Uh, one of the Chewy pieces. So yeah, like it's nice being able to like collect from. Oh, I bought one of Angel's pieces in the audience, and I've got a Yagami as well. Got some Leaf Cosmos in here, and a Goober Cliff. I've just collected from like this line of artists below me. It's so nice. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's nice being able to, and I feel like now, especially now, opposed to August 2020 when I started, we're all like as artists collecting from each other, and it's really
Yeah,
how it should be. Like I aim to like I was speaking today. Just even seen Stacks doing this edition. I'm like, oh, I should really do an edition piece. Like I've never done one. So I'm probably going to do one soon, and then use all the money that I get from that to buy more editions. And that's really just like the joy of it. Like I'm buzzing. I'll have hopefully they all sell out, and then my MetaMask fills up a little bit, and then I can go and buy all these other editions for folk.
no, it's beautiful. It's crazy because like on that whole full circle team again, it's like we went from passing around the same $30 on prints to
Yeah,
passing around this
yeah,
like 0.1, 0.15 on editions now. It's just crazy how different how much the time goes. But
yeah. It's
I'm
nice though.
I'm excited to see your edition when it drops. I'm excited to see your dad's collection when it drops. I wish you guys nothing but the best for that. For
Thank
real.
you, man. Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, that'll be. It's quite the effort. We put a lot of work into it. Well, I mean, I say we. I've put a decent amount of work into it, but nothing comparable to the amount he's put into it, obviously. But I have had to deal with editing everything, which has been quite the shift because what he would do is I bought him a printer to use to scan everything. He'd scan it all and send it to me, and then like there's so many times where I'm like deleting backgrounds from things to like fit it onto this character that we've done. Um, and he's drawn like a crazy headpiece, but not like connected it this tiny little bit. And then like I'll delete the background, and it deletes the whole of the inside of the hair. I'm like, oh my god, like why have you done this? Like why did you do it like this? Um, but no, he's putting a shift. He's putting a shift, and I'll need to decide on what piece I want to do an edition, and I'll also need to figure out how to use Manifold because surprisingly, I've been in the space for over 2 years. I've never used Manifold, so
Never
about
use
time.
uh,
No,
well,
We actually
someone from
have a manifold tutorial that will be dropping very soon.
oh well, send it my way. I will definitely use that.
yeah, like
For sure,
if you
for
have
sure.
any questions before it drops or anything, or even after it drops or whatever, feel free to reach out. Goes to anyone in the audience too. If you have
Thank you.
any questions regarding like how to use Manifold or etc. etc. We got some people here who'd be happy to help.
Lovely
But
stuff.
on that note, do you have any kind of parting thoughts or any people you'd like to give shout outs to?
Um, well, parting thoughts. Like I'd say, if you're gonna take anything from the space, just take your time, and things will come full circle because that seems to be what's happened within the past two years with NFTs. I don't think I've ever said full circle so many times. It should have done at the start, like take a shot every time I say full
I was
circle,
just,
so you'd be
I was
steaming.
just thinking this. We should have turned this shit into a drinking game. No, I'm
Yeah.
fucking with it though.
No, I'd be done. I'd be done. I'm a total lightweight now. I'd be steaming by the end of this. I'd be saying some madness. But
Gotta talk your shit somehow, yeah.
yeah, you just have me promoting my pieces a bit more aggressively. It would go from like I'm not so super to me just shouting like buy my pieces. That's what you get.
Nice.
No, just shout all the collectors that and artists that have supported me in my work through the past 2 years. I say it a lot, but I like to make sure that folk know that I'm like super grateful to just the fact that like I don't have to be in uni at the moment and I can just be a full-time artist, and no matter how long that lasts or how little or whatever, like I'm just going to enjoy the time that I'm doing it and do the best I can and post as much art as I can, I guess. But yeah, shout out all those Donnies and shout out all the artists that are absolutely going crazy on the timeline at the moment. We love to see it. We love to see it. We absolutely love it.
Yeah, no facts. It's a beautiful time to be an artist right now. That's for sure.
It definitely is.
All right, folks. I think that's all we got today. As I said earlier, show Harv some love. Check out Blocks. Share his pieces, and if you feel the need, go and get you one. But in the meantime, I think we're gonna call it. So it was lovely chatting with you. Stay safe,
Likewise.
stay hydrated, and everybody have a good one. Easy.
Thanks for having me. It's
No
been great to
problem.
chat to you, Mew.